Well, I actually enjoyed this description of life in Burma and India by Rudyard Kipling. Georgie Porgy, Puddington Pie, kissed the girls and made them cry. Yes, this isn't this this is not the origin of that, but this is a guy who he's Kipling is talking about a class of guys who basically they work on the frontier outside of respectable society. They kind of operate well there, and when society comes or it gets more respectable, they move on to less respectable again because they work better in that. And that often one of the things that happens in that situation is they take a native wife, except it's not like a actual thing. But he takes a native wife who had a very, as Kipling says, very racistly, an unattractive name. So Georgie Porgy calls his Burmese wife, who he's bought for 500 rupees from the headsman of a village nearby, Georgina. He buys her, and it's a success. He really likes the married life. She really takes care of him. She's really thrifty with the household expenses. She keeps everything neat. There's a lot of what they say is petting, which I assume is just like they're fucking, they're having sex, they're having intimate things, but we're calling it petting, physical intimacy at the very least. But I'm gonna go with petting. I mean, she doesn't get pregnant in the story, so maybe it isn't that. I'm just being a dirty modern reader. Um, but oh god, you can see all my ramen noodle orange on my chin. Some of it. Um, uh, and he goes like, "Oh yeah, I like being married. Well, I guess I should go get married to an actual Englishwoman, a good country girl." And yeah, he goes off and does that. Doesn't tell her, just tells her to go back to the village. Wants to give her 500 rupees. She says, "I don't need that if you're just going to be gone for 6 months. Just give me 50." They end up compromising on 75. She does not like this. He goes off. He gets married. He gets a transfer. Never comes back. Gets transferred to like north of Calcutta in India, basically somewhere else, but as far away as possible from Georgina. Georgina does not like this. Georgina fucking hoofs it all the way from where she is across the water up all the way up India to like north of Calcutta, with people helping her on the way, often hearing what her story is, including kind of soldiers and regiments. It's like they get money for her. They don't know that he's actually gone off and married someone. Um, Arrives, and she's shown by a kind of a subaltern who's actually kind of in love with the bride, the angel. So she holds on her to her tight, and it just crushes her. And by this point, she's already gotten sick. And there they come out. The bride and the bridegroom come out the veranda, and they hear the horrible wailing. And Georgie Porgy says, "Oh, it's probably just some guy beating his wife." Beating his wife? How ghastly! Said the bride. Fancy your beating me. And she kind of slips her hand around his waist, is deeply content, deeply in love with this asshole. But it was Georgina crying, all by herself, down the hillside, among the stones of the watercourse, where the washermen wash their clothes. It's like, yes, she has been discarded. She is fucking probably gonna die from, the cold or whatever, or it's definitely doomed native wife story. And that she doesn't even think, doesn't she's actually in love with fucking Georgie Porgy, but not to the point she's pissed off and is going to make trouble for him, be one of those, which probably would be not go well for her anyways, because he's the ruling class and she's a girl who's the daughter of some headman in a Burmese village. But I actually don't find this story as objectionable, just because it seems like this really feels like a slice of life, like people taking, not an Englishman, you people from the empire taking wives, basically just taking people to have companions. Um, you can only hope the exploitation goes both ways. Feels like she fucking pretty hard done by though in this. I don't know what her prospects are. I mean, the implication from Kipling is, well, she can't have Georgie Porgy anymore, so she's just might as well drop dead. That seems to be the implication of, rather than being a inconvenience, that she just dropped dead. That's my thoughts on that story. More videos later.